Good morning everybody and welcome to Loving My Fishing with Rich, and this morning I am at the Belfry. Fantastic facility, but I'm not here to play golf. I'm not here to reminisce about the glory days of the Ryder Cup back in the 80s. I'm actually here to catch a taxi to Birmingham Airport, and once again I'm heading over to Thailand and to Jurassic Mountain Resort. Now why am I going back? Well, lots of reasons really. Mega fishing, amazing staff, amazing facility overall, but above all, I have some unfinished business. We've just arrived at Bangkok Airport, and another fantastic flight with Emirates. They're once again confirming, certainly in my opinion, that they are the #1 airline in the world. I've certainly flown a few to compare it with. So I've still got another 2.5 hours to go to put on top of this 20 hours to get down to Jurassic. And yeah, a lot of people say to me, that's a long way to go for a bit of fishing. Is it really worth it? You bet it is. Well, rendezvoused with Juan absolutely perfectly, and great to see him again. As usual, we've got the standard dilemma in the car park. This is Juan's car here, and this is a load of cars parallel parked right in front of them. Now normally we can just push them all along and leave the handbrakes off. On this occasion they've left the handbrake on, so we don't know where they are. They could be on a plane to wherever, or they could be here in 5 minutes, who knows. But hey ho, that's Bangkok. And if you can't push them out of the way, then you have to bring the brute force in right down here. So we're going to jack the wheels up and pull us away that way. But always a challenge, but where there's a will, there's a way. And yeah, let's hope from Juan here we will get away today. But yeah, thanks to the guys here at the airport helping us out here by jacking these cars and pulling them out of the way. It seems brutal, but it's perfectly normal over here. So we're just driving to Jurassic. I've just stopped with Juan. I think he's got to put some fuel in or something like that. So I just nipped to his local shop. I bought a bag of crisps and an iced coffee there. I reckon it's cost me about, not a lot. So here we are again. What an absolute privilege to be back at Jurassic Mountain Resort, and the tremendous Jurassic Mountain in the background there, hopefully going to form the background some more fantastic photographs this week. So this is my third trip here, and like I say, I feel very fortunate, very blessed to have this opportunity. And when I came last year, I had 3 specific targets. I wanted to catch a tambaki, a chow prai catfish, and also an arapaima, which has still eluded me even though this is my third trip. I've tried my hardest. Now, last year I achieved probably 2.5 of my targets. I had the tambaki, I had a chow prai, but I lost an arapaima. But what the arapaima did was give me the best fishing experience of my life, even though I lost it. Wow, what an absolute buzz. So if you do visit Jurassic, you will see an arapaima. If you don't see one in your net, you're certainly going to see one in the fish pond here, and maybe 1 or 2 in the edge of the lake at some point during the day. So last night in the draw I drew ball number 7. So what this means at Jurassic, I get the 7th choice on the lake. and obviously had limited options to what was left by then, so I drew the point, which is peg 6. I fished it a few times, it's been a good peg, it's where I got my chide prior from last year. There are more favourable arapaima pegs, but you know, those that watching the programme or maybe been here will know exactly where they are. I'm not going to give too much away, but they do swim, they have fins and they go around, and there has been one caught this week in peg 5 next door, so who knows, I'll be giving it my best shot. But hey ho, you know, what an absolute privilege and a blessing to be here once again. Can't wait to get there, so we're going to head down now, get some bait, head to the lake, get ready, and yeah, let's enjoy a fantastic day's fishing again. Catch you all in a bit. So here we are, peg 6, the point. Like I said, I fished it a couple of times before. I had a chow prior last year, which was a first for me, which was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it's a good carp peg. I'm fairly confident we'll get a fish or two today. In terms of fishing backdrops, look at that, absolutely staggering. So this morning I'm going to start, I'm going to have a quick hour trying for that elusive arapaima. Like I say, a little bit of unfinished business there, but who knows, don't have any expectation in fishing, then there'll be no disappointment. But just enjoy the time here, because it's an amazing place, a real privileged opportunity, and I'm going to make the best of it. So this morning I've got 2 lines out, I've got one down, just down the edge here, and another one, spin the camera around, just down the edge here. So we're going to spend the first sort of 30 minutes to an hour down there. If there is anything to be picked off, it's usually this time of day. Other than that, once we pull them in a little bit later, we'll get some boilers out there, we'll have a go for some big carp. Now looking at yesterday's catch sheet, there were a couple caught here yesterday, big ones. So one estimated 95 to 100 pounds, the other at 120. So yeah, I know what to do, it's whether the fish are biting, but let's just sit back, enjoy the sunshine, have a fabulous day. Just a quick update on day 1 down in peg 6. Now it's been a really difficult morning. I've had a run, lost a carp. Other than that, it's been very, very quiet. But from arriving yesterday afternoon, there seems to be a lot more action sort of later on in the afternoon. So I pulled out the boilers now, and I'm going to try something that did me well last year, and that is a bit of extreme method feeding again. We've got a cage feeder here with a small sort of pop up there. So we're just going to use some of this rice bran that I mixed earlier, and we're going to ball it up onto the feeder, and never be afraid to make a nice big ball, but it's all about getting the texture right with the lum to make sure it doesn't fall off on the cast and equally doesn't break up too quickly in the water. Then we're going to simply place the hook into the ball like that, and this is a method last year that got me a tambaki and a pink stripe catfish. So I've given the swim a break for lunch. I had a beautiful tom yum soup, which is my sort of go-to lunch over here. I absolutely love it. The flavour's absolutely incredible. So fingers crossed for a better afternoon, and hopefully we'll get to show you a fish or two. But who knows, that's fishing. One thing I will say to Jurassic is they do really look after you, and the staff here are just, they really are so lovely. They do everything to cater for your needs and make sure that you're fed, watered, and bring all your gear down to your pegs and everything else. And this afternoon the ice cream lady's been round, so I've got myself a nice Oreo ice cream. So I'm going to sit down and enjoy that. I still haven't caught fish at the moment, but I'm trying a couple of new methods now. Like I said, the extreme method feeder, as I call it, with the lum on the feeder, and I'm trying a bit of pellet waggler fishing as well now. There's quite a few fish topping, so we'll give it a go, but one thing you have to do here is really work hard, keep at it, and the fish will come, I'm sure. So yeah, still a few hours to go. We've still got the witching hour, so to speak, which is hopefully when the predators switch on down the margins, but who knows, we'll see. That's fishing, but you know what, I'm loving it. Just a little update on day 1 on the point, peg 6. It's been really difficult. I've just missed my second run of the day. Glaring run on the on the rice bran ball, the extreme method feeder as I always call it. Yeah, real violent strike, which sometimes can lead to a tambaki perhaps, I don't know, but I still had a hook, so I guess that's possibly not the case. But we've still got a couple of hours to go. You know, there's 1 or 2 hooters going now, which means 1 or 2 fish being connected. But you know what, it only takes one special fish here to really make your day, so who knows what's to come, but we'll keep trying. One thing I never do is give up. Day 1 at Jurassic, and we're down to the last sort of hour or so now, so the thoughts are turning very much to predators. And although I haven't had a fish yet, I've tried absolutely everything. I've tried pellet wagger, I've tried lum float, lum on the bottom, boil on the bottom, you name it, I've had a go today, but they're simply not there for me. So at the moment I've got a float out with lum on it, just giving it one last attempt there. That's been quite successful the last couple of days when it's been fishing hard. But also it's time to start prepping for the predators. So I've got some mackerel here that I'm starting to chop up. I won't put too much out, it's a few little morsels around the side. We're bringing the rods right in. I'll show you in a moment where I'm going to be fishing for the last sort of half, 3/4 of an hour or so. Now, a mistake a lot of people make at Jurassic is packing up at sort of 5:30, 6 o'clock. That last 15 minutes really can make your trip here, and those that have been here will know exactly what I'm talking about. Those last 10 to 15 minutes can really produce that one special fish that makes the trip, never mind the day. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not giving up, but yeah, let's get a bit more of this chopped up and we'll get the bait in. Well, the predator rods are out now for the last sort of half, 3/4 of an hour, and yeah, this is the time when anything can happen, and maybe, who knows, I'll get that elusive fish. But if we're going to get it, usually the best chance this time of day. So my 2 rods are out. I've got one just off the edge of the platform here, and one just by the bushes here. So we pull all the rods back, sit back now, sit tight, and let's hope for a bumpy ride would be nice, but hey ho, let's see. That's fishing. Before I turn in for the evening, I just want to reflect on day 1 for me back here at Jurassic, and it was a tough one. I tried every method, every bait, but I just could not bring a fish to the bank. I had 2 good runs, bumped out of them both, but I tried my best, and sometimes that's fishing. You know, we all have a blank from time to time. You know, sadly it's here, but it doesn't matter, tomorrow's another day. But every day Jurassic finishes with something nice, and one thing that's really quite humbled me today is I've had 4 or 5 people that are fishing at the resort last night and today come up to me and say, we've been watching your YouTube videos, we really enjoyed them, we found them really useful. And not so much the fishing aspect, you know, I'm just an enthusiast, I'm not an expert, I'm not going to tell anybody how to fish. I just enjoy sharing all my experiences with other people. So if people are finding it useful, particularly on the trip to Jurassic, you know, like I say, my journey starts at the airport, get a better understanding of how it all works before they come, then, you know, if that's really helpful, then yeah, that's all I need to hear. But what was also even more humbling was to come in the clubhouse for tea tonight and see my video on the big screen rolling, and people sitting down watching it, engaged and really enjoying it. That really does mean an awful lot to me, more than you could possibly know. Like I say, I don't do this, you know, particularly for the fishing, it's just to share my experiences and my general love of fishing overall. So I went to the bar tonight for the draw, and yeah, it happened. I drew ball number 1. So after a very, very difficult day, I've actually had a good draw tonight, and I've chosen to go in Lazy Man, which is swim 1 tomorrow. I know this is possibly going to be my best chance for an arapaima. I've got to make the most of it tomorrow. So it's going to be up bright and early, get down the swim, check it out. I've fished it a few times before. There's been some pacu coming out there recently as well. I've not had one of those on my list, so that'd be fantastic to tick back. So yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow now, and I'm going to turn in, have an early night, so I'm going to say good night and I'll see you on the bank in the morning. So day 2 at Jurassic, the rods are all out, and as I said last night, I've chosen swim number 1, which is called Lazy Man's. I suggested last year that it might just be because it's the nearest to the clubhouse and less walking to do, but that's the theory I'm going with. And yes, I've got 3 rods out. How's that for a view? So I've got 2 out on the bottom, so I've got one with chicken hearts at the moment, one with mackerel, and I've also got a float rod out, a predator float rod, so that's just drifting along the hyacinth beds. And at a shallower level, so maybe if they're up in the water, sometimes the arapaima come under the hyacinth, come up for air, and maybe catch that mackerel on the way up, but who knows, we'll see. Nothing quite like a good old Yorkshire tea. Always a good sign at Jurassic when you've got this. A soaking wet t-shirt, that means I've been in the water, and finally I've got the account off to a start with a lovely red-tailed catfish. Got it on the float, just cast out of the hyacinths and wallop straight away. Around about sort of 35-40 pounds. So yeah, really happy with that, great start, and yeah, fingers crossed for some more.
Towards this side. There you go. That's correct.
When it's fishing as hard as it is, I don't like to give too many options out there, just a nice trickle, gentle feed every couple of hours. So what I do is I tend to soak up some stick pellets, then add a few chicken hearts. Beautiful, glad it's not smell-o-vision, see a nice little bit of fat, a little bit of protein on there for these hungry fish. So chop a few of them up, chop a few of the small ones in, and then we've got a few mackerel, chop them into bits. Some people chop them into little tiny sections. I don't believe in that. I think that 4 or 5 sections out of a fish just lets a bit of flavour out. So when they're in there, let's get my hands in, mash it all up, then create a nice ball like that to throw in. And yeah, so we'll bring the rods in a minute. We'll chuck some of this out, and we'll kind of start the next couple of hour session as we mean to go on. So yeah, just trickling it in, like I say, not going mad. And if you do buy some chicken hearts, you don't use them all, you can put a label on there with your room number, and you can use Jurassic freezer, no problem at all. So you don't need to waste them, you can save them for the next day. Also, there's a nice little bit of blood, and we'll be using a bit of that later down the margins when hopefully we're going to start targeting the arapaima, but that tends to be in the last sort of 3/4 of an hour to half an hour of the day. So yeah, let's crack on and hopefully get some more fish on the bank. Thank you. Whilst we just take a break to enjoy this beautiful seafood pizza that's just been delivered, I just want to take a moment to reflect on somebody I met a couple of years ago at Jurassic on my first trip, and there's a chap called Dean. And Dean, he was a specialist in peg one here. He could catch anything. Top angler, nice guy, and I know he very much planned to come back this summer. He went sturgeon fishing last year, did very, very well up in Canada. I believe he had one out, sort of 300 pounds, something like that. But you know, Dean works hard at his fishing, he worked really hard at it, and generally got his reward. Sadly, we lost Dean last year, and when I came to Jurassic, I promised that I would dedicate my first fish to him. So all the best, Dean. Cheers. Last year at Jurassic I spoke about a few of the improvements. We've got the steps in and out, the swims, we've got the showers, which have been extremely useful because it's absolutely blistering hot here at the moment. Temperature mid-30s, high humidity, but there's a few more things been added since I was here last year. Number one, we've got this, which I assume is some kind of baiting spoon or a bit of a carpy thing. Not something I would really use particularly, but it's there if you need it. And we also have some hand sanitizer, so we can get those hands nice and clean before we eat our lunch. And also this year they've added another nice feature. In these temperatures it's always nice to cool down, so we're now twice a day we're getting these little bags here, which contain a nice pre-frozen flannel which is cooling and refreshing, which in these temperatures is absolutely ideal. .415 on day 2, and once again it's been a very difficult day's fishing. I did hook up and lose another red tail at the net, but yeah, just grateful for any kind of bites at the moment, but thoughts will soon be turning back to the margins again as per yesterday. I'm in a fantastic swim for something to potentially happen. I've got 3 rods, so I've got 3 chances. So I think I'm going to wind in. I'm just going to maybe go for a walk, have a quick drink, and then come back and really focus on the last couple of hours fishing. And yeah, just hope that that dream can come true, but there are never any guarantees in fishing. You just take what you're given, and you know, yesterday was a tough day blanking. Today I haven't blanked. I've caught some fish, or a fish rather, but hopefully, who knows what's going to happen today. But yeah, let's wait and see. Well, that's rods out on day 2, and as I mentioned earlier in my video, my quest on this visit is the arapaima. I drew fantastic peg to catch one today. They're all starting to come out the hyacinths now to feed, and at about 6:10 I hooked one just down off the platform just here on chicken hearts. Definitely an arapaima. Took me all the way back to the clubhouse almost over there under the hyacinths before the hook pulled once again. That's 2 years in a row I've lost one now. Absolutely gutted, but you know what, there's always tomorrow, and you know, the fish do sometimes win. Maybe mackerel is here. Oh no! Unfortunately I have my chance tonight, probably my best chance of the week unless I draw a low ball again. You know, arapaima can still be caught everywhere. We've still got 4 more days on this pond, so there's still every chance, but oh, what can you say? Tomorrow's another day. Morning everybody, it's day 3 at Jurassic for me, and although I lost that arapaima last night, it teaches you that sometimes, you know, it's good to have a goal, but if you don't achieve it, so long as you've tried your best, that's absolutely fine. But we've still got 4 days to go, so I'm not sort of totally downhearted yet. I know my chance will come. I've lost 2 now, maybe 3rd time lucky. So before I head out, I'll just show you my apartment. So I'm in 7A this year, and this one has got its own kitchen, which I haven't had before. So if you want to self-cater, you can do. But to be honest with you, the food is so good here, I wouldn't even consider it. But it's there if anybody wants to use it and wants to, you know, say any length of time you want to bring a bit of your own food and everything in. It's there, and I have to say it's absolutely fantastic. It's clean, sharp, crisp, everything you could possibly want in a modern day kitchen. So that's brilliant. So before we head out fishing, I'm going to just go and have a quick swim, and then I'm going to head down, pick up my bait for the day. And last night I got lucky in the draw. Not lucky as in a really low number, a nice number in number 4. But before I drew number 4, I actually drew the white ball. And the white ball is a new feature. And if you draw it first before you draw your main ball, then you get a free float rod for the following day. So I've got 3 rods again today. So a real nice gesture there by Jurassic, and something new for anybody coming or anybody that's been before that may be revisiting. So number 4, I've chosen peg 14. It's one I've fished a fair few times now. Usually been pretty good for me, so I'm looking forward to getting down there. And I'll talk a bit more about the methods I'm going to use and what I'm going to be trying to catch today. And who knows, maybe a bonus fish or 2 down there. I certainly had 1 or 2 last year. So brilliant stuff. We'll head down, get the gear and get to the peg.
Swim and then having 1 swim that was a little bit more. Thank you. So do we need to get down for bait? Peg 7?
here we are, peg 14, aka the Bruce. One of my favourites, like I say, good all round peg, kind to me last year. So let's take a look at the lake itself from here. So this is the view. So I'm on the opposite side of the lake. So basically I've been both sides and at one end now. So we're getting it slowly covered. So my plan today, like I say, I got the bonus rod last night. So I'm going to get that out there and I'm going to put a couple of carp rods out. I've been here 2 days, not caught a Siamese yet, which is quite unusual. But today hopefully that will change. So yeah, I know the line's pretty much on the palm trees, in the shadows, there and there. And then we'll just play around with a float rod and see if anything happens. But yeah, it's a lovely sunny day again. Going to get the sun cream on, get the bait ready, and yeah, we'll be chucking out in 5 minutes. Fab. So day 3 and the rods are out, and I'm staying in the solar for a little while because it's incredibly hot again this morning. It's only like 8 o'clock and it's still, I say, 32, 33 degrees now, and out in that sun it's just, I don't know, another 2, 3, 4 on top of that. So I've started today with a nice full English breakfast, a nice mug of Yorkshire tea. What I like over here, they still have the good old-fashioned tomato ketchup bottles, so I'm looking forward to turning that over, giving the bottom end a little tap like we used to when we were kids, and enjoying the rest of this breakfast and hopefully some fish. 1 o'clock on day 3 at Jurassic, and once again it's proving very, very difficult, and I'm still waiting for my first bite of the day. I'm still reasonably confident something will come today. We are in the heat of the day now, and the next couple of hours I think I'm going to go have a spot of lunch, maybe have a quick swim, cool down a little bit, pre-bait the swim before I go, then come back, start afresh. And most of the fish this week are coming out later in the day, so I'm hoping we have a bit of a better period sort of between, I don't know, maybe 3:30 to 6:15 when it's rods out. So I'm going to get these rods in and, like I say, get some bait out into the swim and then get some lunch. I've just had a lovely lunch and the fishing has been tough today, so we're going to up the ante a little bit now. We're going to have a go with the float and the lum feeder. So we're not playing games anymore. We're going with a big ball of lum. This is going to break up when it hits the surface, hopefully attract some fish into the area. So we're going to put the hook into the top there. Let's go chuck it out. Now when you're chucking a ball out like that, it's all about the texture. Let's see if we've got it right. Perfect. So we literally give it about 20 seconds, then we ball up and we go again. Going to get through some lum today. Now those who know me know that I never give up with my fishing until it's either too dark, too late, or I have to go to work or be somewhere else. And yeah, my patience has once again been rewarded this afternoon. Like I said, tough morning. One of my boilie rods just shot off and I've got my first carp of the trip. Just a 50 pounder. Very average in this lake, but fantastic scrap as always. So what we'll do now, we'll get in the water and we'll go have a look at it. Yeah. Damn, fish off. It's coming up to 5:45 on day 3, and since I had that carp I actually lost one. I think I actually got that on film, so I've not managed to switch switch recording either of the 2 fish I actually landed this week. It's typical I get to play on the one I lost, but hey ho, there we go. Hopefully we'll get some more opportunities. Still 4 more days to go. So what I've done again is bring my rods down into the margins with some mackerel on, hoping for maybe a late predator venturing around the margin, see what happens. It's not really known for predators, this peg particularly, But the first year I came here I did have an alligator gar here, and sort of last minute, last knocking. So fingers crossed, let's give it a shot and see what happens the next half hour. 6:15 day 3, and that's rods in, and today I finished with just the one carp, but you know, anything's better than a blank, so I'm quite happy with that. And it was nice to you know, get that after, like I say, another hard fishing day. Everyone's worked hard, and to be fair, the last couple of hours there's been lots of hooters going off, lots of fish being caught later on in the day, so maybe that bodes for tomorrow, and that's maybe where my focus will be a little bit more. But I don't know, we'll see what draw we get tonight. Can't really make the decision till the morning till I know where I am as to what I'm going to be fishing for and the best time of day to target it. So yeah, let's see what we get later, have some tea, and then I may head into Wahin tonight. It's just one of the little local towns, have a look in the night market tonight. There is one in Chatham as well, but it's only open on Wednesday. In Wahin the market is every night, so I may have a venture over there, have a couple of drinks, and yeah, buy a few souvenirs and stuff to take back like you do in Thailand. Morning everybody, it's day 4 at Jurassic for me, and last night in the draw I drew ball number 8, and I was quite surprised actually because I managed to get swim number 2, which, you know, I have a quest for an arapaima on this visit, and number 2 can easily throw one up, particularly later on in the day. And the guys that fished here yesterday said there were 1 or 2 lurking around sort of 6 o'clock time, so who knows what's going to happen, maybe it's fate. But I wouldn't expect to get number 2 with ball number 8, but yeah, feel very fortunate to do that. So once again, spectacular backdrop with Jurassic Mountain just there, so hopefully we'll get a photo or 2 later. Not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I've got some boilers and I'd have a go for carp, but I may just have a go early doors for predators. So we've got a paddle down the side here, so we may just fish down the edge of that, and then we've got a little hyacinth bed down here, so we may just put a bit of chicken heart down there just for an hour or so and see if we can pick up a predator or 2. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen. Once again, beautiful day, already very, very warm. Looking forward to another fabulous day's fishing. Well, that was a nice way to start day 4 here. Only had the rods out about an hour, and the right hand rod right down the edge here just ripped off, and I've got myself a nice red-tailed catfish. This is not an Amazon one, this is an Asian red-tail, so slightly different looking. You'll see from the photographs it's a much sleeker sort of fish. Yeah, they're very, very slimy as well, so when you hold them they're really quite slippery, but they're very docile. It's great, you know, hopefully I've got some good photographs, a nice little video at the release, so that, like I say, they're quite obliging when it comes to holding them. So yeah, enjoy. Well, things are going a lot better on day 4, and I've just had my second fish, and it's another Asian redtail, much smaller than the first one, and he's down here in the net. So I'm just waiting for the gilly to get back, and we'll jump in, we'll get a quick photo. There we go. Asian. Third fish of the morning, would you believe, another Asian redtail.
Bit
Bigger. Okay. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Well folks, I'm absolutely glowing this morning. It's barely 9 o'clock yet and I'm on my third fish already, and believe it or not, there it is. There's the hat trick. 3 Asian red tails. That one got me snagged in the side. You may just get it on the video there. We managed to get it out and get it moving, so we've had them at 17 pounds, 8 pounds and 20 pounds so far. The odds of getting 4 in a row, who knows, but yeah, great hat trick to have. And things can really change here. Your fortunes can really change at Jurassic. You're having a bit of a slow day and things can just suddenly go absolutely mad, and that's the beauty of the place, its unpredictability. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving it so far, loving my fishing. I'm just going to talk through the 3 setups I've got here today, and we'll start off at the bottom end here. So we have these Shimano bait runners. We'll be familiar with those. These are 8000 series, fairly new, and yep, they're loaded up with a 60 pound braided main line to an 80 pound, I believe, shock leader, and then we're using a hook length with 60 pound braid also down to the hook and a hair rig. So we've got 2 boilers on that one. Next we've got a predator rig, so we've got a shorter coated hook length, which is obviously going to obviously a lot of these predators have very abrasive mouths, so it's going to help just prevent too much abrasion on there. It may cause the line to snap. And then the one I'm going to have a go with this afternoon is a pellet waggler, and a lot bigger than the ones we use in the UK. And again, very similar setup, short-ish hook length, again down to a single boilie, hair rigged just there. So we're going to throw a few boilies in one after the other, then cast straight in afterwards. And I think at the moment there's a lot of fish on the top. It's very, very hot. I've seen a lot of fish topping, a lot of fish cruising around. So hopefully this might give us the best chance of catching the fish during the day. But the only way we're going to find that out is by getting the rods back out. So I'm going to get set up, get some bait on, get chucked in. As I mentioned earlier, my little bit of unfinished business this year was to come and try and catch an arapaima. And I don't know if you can see in the distance, over there somewhere, over there is the anglers in swim 16 have just landed one, which is mid-morning, which is quite unusual. Yeah, I'm over the moon for them, and I'm sure they're going to go home absolutely buzzing with this, but I don't know whether I'm going to catch one or not. Like I said, I'm going to swim here. I've got a really good chance later on. I don't know, but they're about to lift the fish out. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not, whether they're just a little bit too far away. But you get one chance. These things can jump. Yeah, so you may just see that little red tail there. Like I said, I'm over the moon for them, and it's going to absolutely make their day, and I'm really happy for them, but there is a part of me just wishes it was me. Of course, Jurassic isn't just about the fabulous fishing, it's also about the fabulous resort itself, and while you're here you really must take some time to take some walk around these fantastic gardens, take it in, see the colours, all the beautiful flowers. If this doesn't make you feel good, I don't know what will, so absolutely. It really is so hot this afternoon, hottest conditions I've ever fished in. It's got to be in that sunshine, 40 odd degrees, almost unbearable to be out there, so I've been able to dip in the pool earlier and try and cool down a bit. It was incredibly hot, so the fan's on, the beer's out in its nice customised Jurassic sleeve there, so it's coming that time of the evening. We're going to hit 4 o'clock soon, and my thought's going to start turning to predators again, so maybe getting a bait down the edge for a start, and then yeah, we'll see if those arapaima are going to come and play again later. But no guarantees in fishing wherever you are. All you can do is try your best. I know what to do. If they're there, I've got a chance. If they're not, well, I've still got 2 more days on this lake. I've got a day on the species lake, which I'm very much looking forward to. So much diversity in there. It's a really cool lake to fish, and definitely breaks up the trip nicely in between the monster and the specimen. So yeah, so I'm going to finish the rest of this beer and I'm going to go baits out. That's the end of day 4 for me on the Specimen Lake, and once again the arapaima has eluded me. Now I've actually had a really good day. I had the 3 Asian red tails in the morning, and then I bought the rods in the margins, which is quite, you know, the thing to do in peg 2 with a chance of an arapaima maybe patrolling a bit later on. And I got a classic arapaima run, just a slow take away from the bank, gently struck in, off it went. I thought, here we go, brilliant. But actually it turned out to be a nice big Amazon red-tailed catfish, so it's a nice way to end the day. Not the arapaima that I'm here for, but you know what, I'll keep trying. Let's see what we get in the draw tonight. I've still got 2 more days on here to go, and yeah, fingers crossed that we finish the week on a high. Morning everybody, day 5 of my Jurassic adventure, and last night I drew ball number 7 and I've ended up back on the point, peg 6, which I fished on the first day here and unfortunately blanked. So on the belief that I can't do that 2 days in a row, who knows, that's fishing, but we'll wait and see, but I'll certainly give it my best shot. There we go, number 6, and always recognised as a good carp peg. I'm going to start the day though down the margins, see if there's a predator or 2 to be picked off. Like I say, never any guarantees with anything in fishing. And then I'm going to, a little bit later, I say, great view of the mountain again, get a boiler down there, and I'm going to do minimal feeding today. I think just try and keep the fish's interest around what is actually there and not spread too much bait around and give them too many options. But I don't know how it's going to go. It is a much cloudier day today, a little bit cooler, which might just switch them on and maybe just help the fishing a little bit, but who knows, we'll wait and see. Morning. That's my breakfast just arrived, so I'm going to have a quick granola and a nice cup of tea, and then I'm going to switch one of my predator rods to carp, and then we'll get thrown out just kind of in the shadow of the mountain in that direction there. Now when you're ordering your food, you can either, like I do, just pre-order it when I'm picking up my bait, or you can use the QR codes here and on your phone, so WhatsApp or Line or whatever they call it over here, and have it delivered direct to your swim. So if you need any extra bait, an extra beer, anything like that at all, then they'll bring it down to the swim with a smile as always, and look after you very, very well, as everyone does here at Jurassic. It's fantastic. So it's about mid-morning, and other than a screaming run on the predator rod earlier, which unfortunately didn't result in a fish, I'm going to try something a little bit different. So Oliver's been around, he's made some suggestions for me. I'm going to have a go for predators out in the water. So the suggestion is that we get a load of boilies, a load of chicken hearts in there, and we're going to mash them all together. God, that stinks. So please, this isn't smell-o-vision. We're going to mash it up like that, and yes, I will wash my hands afterwards because it's absolutely disgusting. I'm going to throw all this out, and we'll have a wander off, order some lunch, give the bait, you know, sort of half an hour to hopefully attract something into the swim, and I come back, fish single chicken heart and see what we get. But also Oliver has bought me a fruit from his garden. Now if I manage to not eat it in between, I'm going to try this later, and maybe, who knows, you know, we know that things like tambaki like a bit of fruit like that, so I might just put a bit of that on, just try something a little bit different. But we've had a real heavy rain shower now. I'm hoping that might just turn the fishing on a little bit. And yeah, like I said, I've got all afternoon. I've still got another day on this lake, another day on the other. I'm having a great time, absolutely loving my fishing here once again. Yeah, stuff dreams are made of, fantastic. Just while I've got a bit of time this afternoon, I just want to go through 5 or 6 really important things when you're visiting Jurassic, things that I've learned over the last couple of years of coming. Some will be obvious to the experienced angler, some probably less obvious to the novice angler. So my sort of top 5 or 6 tips or things to do when you come to Jurassic. Number 1, plenty of sun cream. That sun is very, very hot. It will burn even through the clouds. And also, if you're lucky enough to get in the water with a fish, it's always worth just slapping a bit more on just to refresh it and keep yourself protected. You do have fantastic shelters here with fans, and you know, you can keep nice and cool in there. Or like myself, you can hire a chair if you want to sit out, but don't sit out in it too long, otherwise, like I say, you will burn. Don't allow yourself to dehydrate. You know, you have a fantastic fridge here with plenty of water and drinks and, you know, branded Jurassic bottles. You know, there's Coke, there's Fanta, all kinds of things in there, so really no excuse for dehydrating. A couple more things. Number 1, make sure you've got your whistle around your neck, or your hooligan horn as I call it. It's kind of thing used on football terraces to alert the gillers if you need any help, or if you happen to have be lucky enough to hook a fish, then give that a hoot or give your whistle a good blow. But if you don't do that and there's not to hand, then the gillers won't know you've got a fish on, and then you've got a problem. Another tip, so things like chicken hearts, for instance, if you're going off for a convenience break or to order a bit of lunch, something like that, be sure to put the lid back on. Otherwise, and I've learned to my expense, you will get the native Asian water monitors coming to help themselves, and you'll come and find all your bait's gone. Next tip is regarding your bait runners. So we've got the bait runners here, and the key thing is to apply them before you put the rod on the rest. So flick the bait runner on before you drop it down, but also make sure that your handle is in a downward or backwards position. That way it can't possibly roll forward and knock the bait runner off. If you lose a rod in the water, it's 7,000 baht, which equates to about 175 UK pounds. So it's an expensive mistake to make, and you know, keep checking and double check them if you have to, for your own conscience. Now the final thing is regarding this, and that's your catapult. Again, really important for pinging out those boilers. It's a good heavy duty catapult. When you're not using it, bring it back to the solar and hang it up. That'll keep it out of the sun, and it will stop the elastic from deteriorating and degenerating in the heat. So yes, there's a few tips. Another thing I get asked quite often is how long between casts. Well, laugh if you like, but this is my way. I do a couple of word searches, so every 2 word searches is a recast for me. I know the fishery staff here find it quite amusing, but it works for me, and it sort of fills your time quite nicely. So yeah, I hope you found those tips useful, and we'll crack on with some fishing now and hopefully bag a fish or 2 this afternoon. I'm coming to the end of day 5, and I've brought the rods back into the margins again. So for the last sort of 30-40 minutes we're going to be chucking a bit of blood in there and a few chicken hearts, and hopefully draw a predator or 2 into the margin. And who knows, you know, I'm running out of time now. I've got the next 30 minutes plus 1 more day to you know, to finalise my unfinished business. But at the moment I'm not feeling too confident I'm going to do it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, what a beautiful place. I mean, what a privilege to be here regardless. But you know, it really would be the icing on the cake. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's fishing, and you know, the best thing is to have no expectation, and then you have no disappointment. So I'm giving it my best shot. I'm doing my best, giving it the best chance I can. It'll either happen or it won't. But overall, it's been a fantastic experience again. Day 5 done, and another very quiet one for me. There have been fish coming out. You know, it is difficult at the moment. You know, those that are working hard are reaping the rewards, and you know, the lum float seems to be doing very well at the moment. But yeah, certainly been more fish out today than has the first few days, which is really encouraging for my last day in 2 days' time. So tomorrow I'm on the Species Lake, so looking forward to a nice relaxing day on there, and let's see what we can find in there. There's some pretty unusual stuff there. You know, I've had things like the fantail kois and the black minnow sharks in the past, you know, plex, Asian red, all sorts of stuff in there, rohu. There's some beautiful carp in there, so many different species. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, and taking a break from the main lake. I've got 1 more day now to finish off that little bit of business that I came over for, but nothing in fishing is guaranteed. But we'll see how tomorrow goes and see what we get in the draw tomorrow night, see what kind of chance we've got. So finally arrived in Hua Hin for the night market, and we decided to come on Monday night where it'd be a little bit quieter, and over the weekend it's been a celebration of the Thai New Year. So town has been absolutely crazy busy. I don't particularly like enclosed spaces, and it's literally been standing room only as the Thai celebrate their official New Year. So it's been all the water pistols, all those kind of things. You may have seen it all on social media or otherwise, but yeah, so a bit more quiet tonight. Still very, very busy. So let's head into the market, go take a look, see what it's all about. So what can you buy in the night market? Well, all sorts of things really, from pictures to clothing to jewellery, other souvenirs. But for me, I come for the food. So lots of amazing street food along with everything else at Whitehead Night Market, and I've chosen some squid. I do love my seafood, and I'm sure this is going to be absolutely amazing. Morning everybody, day 6, excuse me, at Jurassic Mountain. I feel like I've caught a cold today. I don't really know how in this weather, but I feel quite groggy. So yeah, so back on the species. I've been on here a few times, caught some amazing fish, some real unusual fish. And you never know what you're going to get in here. There's that many things that are possible, from, you know, ripsaw catfish to plex to rohu and all sorts of different types of carp. So I'm really looking forward to having a good session in here today. And then I'm going to have a little break at lunchtime. We're probably going to go feed the arapaima, do a little bit there, and yeah, hope to have another fantastic day. I've fished this lake a couple of times in the past, on each occasion I've been over, and I tend to find the best method here is just to keep it simple. So I'm going to be going once again with the lum. So I'm going to put one lum feeder out, and I'm also going to fish the float rod, which I've done really, really well on in the past. So with the lum, it's just little and often with the water, keep working it in. And then also I like to always have a bucket of water handy, because it always sticks to your hands. Next to the lum, I like to add a few stick pellets. A bag of those, you can't mess about over here, they're hungry fish, and they'll eat as much as you can give them. So again, a little more water, just keep mixing it in, keep working it in there. You can see all the pellets nicely mixed in. And we're going to try and get it to a texture, not quite there yet, but it'll all stick together to the lum feeder. And when I'm float fishing, I will throw out little small sort of golf ball sized balls every now and again, and particularly down the margins I've always done really, really well. Now there's a gentle shelf that drops off, and you kind of feel it with the float, you feel with the depth where it goes. That's where I tend to sit. So on the hook I'll be using things like sweet corn, paste, which I've just realised I've forgotten, so I'm going to have to go back and get some. And on the lum feeder, probably just a small pop-up, something like that. So nothing complicated, it doesn't need to be in here. And you know, it's a fabulous day again here at Jurassic. Sun's out, lovely and warm. Going to enjoy another great day's fishing. Perfect. been a really steady morning on the Species Lake. I've had 1 or 2 bites but not landed a fish yet, so I'm going to focus on float fishing there this afternoon and just using paste and sweet corn, things like that, gently trickling a little bit of feed in, and I'm pretty sure we'll get them going later on. So I'm going to grab some lunch now, and after lunch I'm going to go and feed the arapaima. Now we don't feed the arapaima here behind the clubhouse. We want those fish out in the lake. We don't want them drawing close and getting used to being fed by humans. That's not the right thing to do, so avoid that if you visit Jurassic. There is a pond in the main garden complex that facilitates this. There's a massive arapaima in there, and by all means you can feed them in there, but word of advice, don't put your hand in, and when you watch the video you'll understand why. But yeah, but never ever feed them in this section here. After a beautiful Thai lunch, and I never make my mind up, so I get the staff here to choose for me, and again, once again, fantastic, authentic, some kind of deep fried pork dish, very much a Thai tradition and absolutely beautiful. So thanks to May, who's been doing my lunchtime selections all week and giving me something else to try. Now, one thing I would say here is the staff are absolutely amazing. Not only a fantastic fishery, but you're so well looked after, you're so well catered for. They really want to make your trip a real memorable experience for you. So I said I'd come and feed the arapaima. There's also other things in this lake, there's alligator gar, I've been told there's tambaki, there's Nile perch, all sorts in here. And you know, Tom has given me a bucket of floating pellets, and he assures me that this is going to be absolute carnage. So let's throw these in and have a look. Just makes you look at koi carp a little bit differently, doesn't it? Brilliant. So now we've fed the pellets, we're going to give them a bit of mackerel. Whoa. So after that absolute frantic feeding frenzy by those fantastic arapaima, wow, what an absolute buzz. I mean, you've really got to do it when you come here, but like I say, do it in the pond, in the garden. Don't feed them next to the lake there. You know, like I say, we're trying to discourage human interaction here to kind of try and keep those fish concentrated on the swims where we want to catch them. So yeah, but always experience it. And you know what, buy a tub of mackerel, costs probably a couple of pounds, £2.50 at the most, English money. Now I was somewhere the other day and I bought a little cup of things to feed some stick pellets to some koi carp, and that cost me £1. But that is the best £2.50, best lifetime experience I suggest that you could ever possibly do when you're here. It's absolutely incredible. But like I say, the staff here are brilliant, really want to do their best to make this the most memorable and most enjoyable, a memory to last a lifetime, shall we say, here at Jurassic. Brilliant, loving every minute of it, loving my fishing.
Beautiful. Bye bye.
Yeah. That's day 5 complete at Jurassic, and I've had a day on the Species Lake. Well worth a day on here if ever you visit. It's good fun, all sorts of weird stuff, and you never know what you're going to get. I mean, I've caught a couple of plex today, you know, Plecostomus, you see them in fish tanks back in the UK and all over the place. They're cracking fish, you know. I had one, must be knocking on £2 in weight. You know, it's absolutely beautiful, the markings, but you'll see in the photograph, absolutely stunning fish. I also had a Chinese big-headed carp rather, which I believe is the first for me out of here, and one or two other bits and bobs. So yeah, it's been a good day. A chap next to me caught a Mekong earlier on bread on the bottom, which again, not a traditional Mekong method, I'm sure, but it just goes to show that anything's possible at this place. And yeah, make that visit, come down, enjoy it, and you'll even meet these fantastic gillies. Morning everybody, day 6 at Jurassic, and I'm not going to say it's a sad day because there's never a sad day in Thailand. It's such an amazing, happy place to be, but it's actually my final day, so we'll call it that instead. And last night I drew ball number 5. Now there is a peg I specifically wanted other than the usual 2 that sort of go, those that know, and I felt that my best chance of maybe an arapaima, who knows, I'm not having any expectation that I won't be disappointed, but I knew my best chance would be probably peg 2, and ball 5, you know, peg 2's been going pretty quickly this week, so I figured maybe my chance has gone. You can catch them in every peg here, but certainly 1 or 2 are more favourable than others. Anyway, when the little chart came round and when they do the draw here, you draw your ball out, so if you draw ball number 2, you get second choice of swim. It doesn't mean peg 2. So when my turn came round, number 2 was still free. So I've taken up this opportunity. This is the one I had the Asian red tails out from. So we may be good for a predator or 2, but like I say, you never know in fishing. So I've got some chicken hearts out in the usual places down the side for the first hour or so, and then I've got to go and pack my bags about 11:30, and then later on this evening it's just going to be the most nervous sort of last half hour ever. But yeah, it's been a fantastic trip again. You know, we'll summarise it later at the end of the vlog, but yeah, fingers crossed for some unfinished business. Well, my breakfast has just arrived and I'm finishing the week with a nice full English. Very much looking forward to getting stuck into that. But before I do, you may just see behind me over here, there's some people down the pathway at peg 1, and somebody has hooked into arapaima, and they hooked into that literally seconds after the throw-in at 7 o'clock. So yeah, just a case of right place, right time. I've got to keep waiting for mine. I may not get it this year, but if I don't, I'll definitely be back. But yeah, he's not got it in yet. I'm not quite sure what the time is at the moment. It is... yeah, he's a good half an hour into the fight now, so it's probably better you hook these things in the morning when it's just a little bit cooler. When I say that, it's not cool at all, it's still really hot, but hook one of these things in the middle of the afternoon in that sunshine would be absolutely exhausting. But yeah, I wish them well getting the fish in, and hopefully yeah, it'll have really made their trip. So it's day 6 on the Specimen Lake, and I'm just taking a break for lunch, and I've got to go back to my room and pack my bag and bring it over here ready. Don't worry if you've got an evening transfer, they do have other showers here, so once you've done your fishing, you can have a bite to eat, you can have a shower, freshen up before you start what for me is going to be another sort of 20-hour journey home. So yeah, once again, massive thank you to Jurassic and all the staff here. They really are fantastic, and at the end of your trip, show them some gratitude. And there is a tip box here on the main reception, so make sure you put plenty in there for the gillies and the clubhouse staff here. They deserve every single bat. So yeah, give generously and really show your appreciation for them, as I will be doing when I check out later. So yeah, let's go get the bag packed and look forward to a great afternoon's fishing. Well, the final day here today. I don't know what's going to happen next, but you know, I've been waiting for a bite all day. I've been putting out the lum float, and bang, I just had a carp round about 80 to 90 pounds in weight. You'll see from the photos, an absolute monster. And while I was playing that, the other rod went, and kind gentleman next door actually heard the commotion, heard one alarm going off, me playing a fish, came to help, and unfortunately that one came off. So yeah, all of a sudden things have kicked off, whistles are blowing everywhere. People are hooking fish. Maybe the overcast weather's really helping, I don't know. There's still time to go. I'm just hoping and praying now that the last sort of half an hour of the day is going to give me something, but got a bit longer yet, so maybe a chance to try and maybe get a fish 2 on the bank before we really focus on the predators closely later. But yeah, this is how it can change at Jurassic and go from being a really sort of quiet, steady day for everybody to all of a sudden it just kicks off, and this is what it's all about. Fabulous, brilliant stuff, love it. So people in the UK often ask me, they say, why don't you get in the water and have your photo taken of the fish that you catch in the UK? Quite simply the answer is, number one, it's too damn cold. And number two, this is obviously a man-made lake and doesn't have the obviously worries of like a river Trent with current and everything. But also, it's the temperature of a heated swimming pool. So nice to cool down. We're into the last hour of my fishing and things have really sort of, like I say, kicked off now. There's people hooking fish all over the place. And again, I think it's just down to, it's cooled down a little bit, gone a little bit overcast. So we're at that time now. I'm going to start focusing on the predators and who knows, you know, maybe the big red one, but I'm just not expecting anything. I've said many times this week, don't have expectation, then you're not disappointed. But I'm going to give it my best shot. I know what to do here. In my opinion, I've got the second best arapaima peg late on in the day on the lake. So I've given myself a really good chance and I expected this one to be gone when I drew ball number 5, but it isn't. So yeah, this really is the last knock-ins now. I'll be bringing my baits close in the edge, pulling everything back out of the way and really praying that line starts to coil out back into the lake and you know, we get what I came for. But you know what, it's been a fabulous week, so I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't. The guys in peg 1 have had 2 out today. They've just got a big fish on at the moment. It's just ploughed right through my swim, so I had to wind in and let them play whatever they're playing. But I'm going to have a quick look, see what they've got. I'm going to come back, get the predator rigs on, which are a coated rig. You know, these fish have sort of more abrasive pads and it just gives that hook length a bit more strength than the standard braid on the carp rigs. So yeah, so it's that time now. It's do or die, now or never. But you know what, I've had a fabulous time, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just gives me a good excuse to come back. And of course, we don't want to let this lovely chicken blood go to waste. So we're just going to pour that out down the side. And hopefully that blood is going to attract a little bit of scent. So 30 minutes to go. This is where I turn into an absolute nervous wreck, because anything can happen now. So my rods are out behind me, pulled right in the margin. That's my seat for the next half an hour, and I'll be sitting down there and I'll be twiddling my thumbs and I'll be, you know, praying and hoping to see that line start to tighten up, tension, head out into the lake, one hard strike and then hold on for life. But hey ho, that's all just a fantasy. The reality is it may not happen, but you know what, without having that rod in the water it never will. So there they are, and everything crossed, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to sit down. Well, that's rods out on the final day, so that means it's 6:15, and I didn't catch my arapaima sadly, but at 6:10 tonight my heart absolutely raced. I had a fishing just down here, just at the edge of the platform. My line started to tighten up, my alarm started to set off, huge swirl, 100% an arapaima. Sadly it dropped the bait and that was that. But I did lose one earlier this week. You know, it's an absolute thrill to hook one. These things just take total control of you, and until you've hooked one I can't really describe the experience. But you know what, it doesn't matter. You know, I tried my best, but I've had a great week. I've caught some nice fish. You know, the fishing's been tough, but everybody's really tried different methods. The gillies, everybody's really worked hard, and everybody's caught some fish, which is fantastic. I've had some nice carp, I've had some nice Asian red tails, I've had a Chinese big head I think they're called on the species lake, a couple of plex. So yeah, good mixture of fish for me overall. So what can I say? Jurassic Mountain Resort. If you're thinking of coming, stop the thinking, get the flight booked and come over, you won't regret it. Jurassic Mountain in the background. Once again, is there a better backdrop on a fishery anywhere in the world? And it's been great. I've met so many nice people this week. I've met people from New Zealand and all other places all over the world, and everybody coming here for this fantastically unique experience. It's been great to catch up, come back, catch up with Tom and Ollie and George and Jason, who started recently. All the gillies, as always, have been absolutely fantastic with their photos, their netting, showing you how to fish, you know, showing you how to mix lum, little things like that. They really help everybody make the best of the fishing here. Also all the ladies in the clubhouse, so May and Boom and all the chefs, the drivers, the cleaners, the gardeners, everybody has worked really hard to make this place look so spectacular and keep it in tip-top condition for all of us anglers to enjoy. So yeah, for me now, it's a case of quick shower, bite to eat. My taxi's coming at 8 o'clock and then I'm heading off to Suvarnabhumi, which is Bangkok International Airport. I thought I'd attempt a little bit of Thai there, I think I've pronounced it right. And I'll be boarding an Emirates flight via Dubai back to home, which is a journey for me of about 20 odd hours, I guess. So yeah, so overall, once again, Jurassic, it's been absolutely fantastic. Or should I say fantastic? I guess that's a bit cheesy, but there we go. But yeah, just want to finish the video by thanking everybody for watching my previous videos, and yeah, please subscribe to Loving My Fishing with Rich. I may just make a few more in the UK now if there's enough interest out there and people wish me to do so. But in the meantime, all the best everybody, tight lines, happy fishing, and time to start my journey home. Cheers for now.